Hello everyone, this is Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So once again, we are here with you all to discuss the success story of one more achiever of ours, and this time we have with us Dr. Leena Appicatlaa. So Dr. Leena is a seasoned industry professional in the corporate healthcare sector. A doctor by profession with MD in biochemistry, she has transitioned into the corporate administration in her chosen field of expertise, medical laboratory diagnostics, where she works in the area of laboratory operations, strategies, and quality. At a time when laboratory diagnostics was still confined largely to hospitals, she made a change in her career from a medical faculty teaching position at a renowned SRMC Chennai to the clinical laboratory with Apollo Hospitals Chennai. Subsequently, she has worked with healthcare stalwarts like Wockhardt Hospital, Fortis Hospital, SRL Diagnostics, and HCG hospitals. Currently, she is heading the Pan India laboratory operations of the HCG group of hospitals. Close interaction with the clinicians for laboratory work has always been her forte. Laboratory results are responsible for more than 70% of the clinical diagnosis. Hence, it is very important that the results are always timely, accurate, and relevant. This in turn ensures reliability and confidence of the patients and the treating clinicians on the laboratory doctors and personals. In her work, she has always kept the patients at the forefront and the core of all the lab work. She holds a PG diploma in medical laws and ethics from National Law Schools of India University, Bangalore, and a EDP in strategic management from XLRI, Jamshedpur. She is an avid reader, especially interested in historical monuments and temples in India and abroad. She lives in Bangalore with her family. But before we actually start the conversation with her, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, Varsha. I'm doing good. How are you?
All good, ma'am. Thank you so much for asking. So, before we actually start with our conversation, I'm very keen to know that how did you actually land up to the idea of choosing this particular profession for yourself?
Basically, I'm a doctor. I've done my MBBS and MD in biochemistry. And I think at the time when it came to choosing my career, I was very clear that I always wanted to be a doctor. And at that time, I thought that being a doctor would enable me to not only study proper science, but also help people who may be in need of my professional services. It was at a very young age that I decided, and I finished my MD, and thereafter I took up a teaching assignment at Chennai in SRMC and RI, that is Research Institute. Basically, I could have continued as a medical faculty, as most of my colleagues were doing, but when I got into the clinical laboratory, I understood that the future of medicine is actually in the diagnostic sector, because 70% of the clinical diagnosis depends on a laboratory or a radiology report. So that is when I took a call to change my line completely from teaching to get into the clinical laboratory. And that is what I thought is this is my true calling, because it was something it was like a kind of research as well as the the ability to detect a patient's disease from a small biological sample is something which attracted me, and I decided to get into the corporate health sector at Apollo Hospitals in Chennai. So that is the decision I made, and I think that that's how my professional journey has been. And that was the time when I actually took up a challenge of changing my profession, not profession, but changing my calling, my career completely into a hardcore clinical sector.
Amazing, ma'am. So, nothing comes that easy to us, and I'm pretty sure that you must have also had certain sort of challenges in your professional role. So, tell us a bit about those challenges and also the overcomings for the same, please.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the late 1990s. So there were various challenges which I had to face both personally as well as professionally. See, a teaching job is more or less a kind of a regulated timings, and you sort of know that, okay, you're going home at a particular time. But when I made the transition from teaching to laboratory, my family quickly understood that, okay, there is no rest for her, because it was all the time I was on the phone. And at that time, mobile devices were also not that that popular. So it was a lot of time of mine was going in answering clinician questions and dealing with the laboratory people. So the second part was the management of the staff of the laboratory. See, basically, as MBBS students, we are not taught management at all. So people management was a challenge, because the laboratory technicians are they are the ones who are the main workers in the ground, and I had to manage them properly and handle their duties, and make ensure that we worked as a team, because when you work as a team, that's when you deliver the best quality of laboratory results as well. Then the third thing also was that I had to learn a new language, that is Tamil. I'm not basically from the south, and so I had to learn Tamil, because that was the language which my technicians understood. And I thought that if I have to understand how the lab works, and then I need to know the language which the people speak in. So that's how I learned Tamil. And another thing was that interesting thing was also the fact that my most of my exposure was like in a theory kind of a setup, and I had to change it into a practical mode. So when we have studied biochemistry, then we know that, okay, this is how the molecule works or something. But when it comes to a real live patient sample, then our exposure at that time was not that much. So I had to sort of mentally translate ki, okay, this is what I have learned, now how do I transfer my knowledge into a practical medical sector. And Apollo Hospitals is one of the most challenging sectors to work for. So so those were the various challenges which I faced. And I think, and I didn't have a roadmap as such. So there was no senior to guide me, and I was just placed as head of the biochemistry laboratory. And there was no roadmap of how to manage and how to deal with people, how to put up with difficult people or difficult clinicians. So that was a very interesting part. But yes, it was. These were some of the challenges which I had to manage.
Right, ma'am. So now, moving ahead and talking about HCG hospitals, what sort of major services are being provided to people out there? If you can please brief us a bit about
Yeah,
those.
so HCG hospital, I'm really privileged to be with HCG hospitals, because it is the largest network of cancer hospitals in the country. And our chairman, Dr. Ajay Kumar, is basically one of the doctor entrepreneurs, and he had this vision way back, that. oncology is something which really needs that kind of an expertise. So at HCG we have about a network of 24 hospitals, and the focus is basically on cancer care with genomics, personalized medicine, and research, cutting edge technology with all the linear accelerators and whatever is needed to treat cancer. And another thing is that the reach of HCG is very high. We are into all the tier 2 cities, and that's how cancer goes into the, the treatment of cancer gets into the masses. And then in HCG, then another speciality is that all the cases are kind of personalized, because we have genomics, and we have multidisciplinary meetings wherein all the cases are discussed. So overall it's a comprehensive cancer care center. And as far as the laboratory goes, there is a big reference lab in Bangalore itself with genomics, molecular biology, cytogenetics, and a lot of research work happens here. Then we have histopathology, biochemistry, specialist biochemistry, immunohistochemistry, and we also deal with hematological malignancies. So these are the products which offer from the lab point of view.
Right, ma'am. So now, talking about the future, everyone do plans for their future. So, what further plans are you having for yourself in the upcoming years? If you can also share a bit of those plans.
Yeah. So I think this I can divide it into a kind of a personal ambition as well as professionally. What are the uh, plans which I have? So personally, if you see the reason I got into laboratory administration and strategic management and operations is that I wanted to make a difference at a larger level. So I thought that being in one laboratory, where I'm just giving the reports, uh, would be a very it would be a kind of a niche role. However, if I get into a corporate administration, I would be able to ensure that the basic foundation of all the labs which I'm handling would be strong, and therefore we could deliver the right clinical the reports, the laboratory reports to the clinicians. So personally, yes, I would definitely like to. My plan is to go higher up into a role where I can integrate more of my learning on the ground level learning with what is required, and thus rise in the corporate sector. And professionally, if you ask me, I think my deepest desire is to take diagnostic services to the masses. I want to establish a laboratory which would help people who are more in the marginalized sections, because that's where I think we need to focus on. Like many people can afford a lab test, but many people cannot. And as COVID has taught us, I think all of us are one family. So there is no point in giving healthcare, best of healthcare, to one member of the family and leaving out the rest of it. So I think professionally, my ambition would be to, that's my plan basically. It's not an ambition, but I'm thinking of getting into a kind of a awareness programs for people who have no idea of how much a lab test can do for them, and also people who cannot afford it. So that's my plan. Maybe another 4 5 years and I should be into that kind of a segment.
Right, ma'am. And I wish you all the success for all these plans of yours as well.
Thank you.
Right. So now moving ahead and, coming to the main part of this interview, or coming to the main question of this interview, which I've personally, love to ask our awardees as well. And that is, what are your feelings on winning this Women of Excellence Award for yourself?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm really happy to win this award. Yeah, because we work for a very long time. It's been a long time that I'm in the same field, and when we are working, I think we sort of keep on at it. And when someone says that, okay, you've done a good job, then you feel really happy. And there's a sense of accomplishment. And also, I hope that this would encourage many youngsters to take up this field of laboratory medicine, which is very interesting, very challenging. And I'm really thankful to IAF as well for recognizing the contributions in this field. I'm quite happy about it.
And you're truly an achiever, I must say, ma'am. So now, since we have talked a lot about your professional role and also the upcoming plans that you're having, tell us a bit about the social contribution too that you are giving to the society, apart from your services, which obviously you are giving to the people as an associate to an hospital.
Yeah, so socially, see, I'm a doctor by profession, so I do a lot of volunteering activities. I am tied up with a few organizations which I look into their healthcare needs at a very primary level, because I always believe that primary healthcare is something which we really need to work upon. And but I mean, the maximum contribution to society which I would be doing, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the next 5 years, 5 to 6 years, is that when I start my diagnostic center and help the people who really need diagnostic services. And apart from that, I'm a passionate wildlife lover, so I contribute a lot to WWF and to wherever you have these needy animals, and that kind of a thing. So socially, I'm into that, as well as I believe in children and women rights. So I'm associated. I mean, I have a lot of such institutions with which I'm associated, which does for work for women and for underprivileged children. So these are the things which I am currently pursuing.
Right, ma'am. So now, last but surely not the least, what message or mantra you would like to give to our younger generation to become successful in their careers?
Yeah, see, I think the main thing which I would like to say is that the younger people should do what they believe in and believe in what they do. So then you can, once you go deep into your chosen field, then excellence would automatically come. And we have to believe in ourselves, that okay, you take up some challenges, you may lose it, you may win it, but it's ultimately the journey which is exciting. There's no goal, there's no goal that we have to do something. The journey is something very exciting. So I think my message to the youngsters would be to take up the responsibility as a healthcare professional, as a doctor, or as an entrepreneur, whatever it is, to be very, very focused, determined, and willing to take up challenges and be very optimistic about it. And also, I strongly believe in our current concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And I think that as healthcare people, we must ensure that our contribution to society is something very important. It's not just for ourselves. So I think that's the way to go, because the more you give to society, the more society becomes stronger for the next generation. So I think that is the message I would like to convey to all our younger people.
Very, very correctly said, ma'am. And I'm pretty sure that these words of yours will surely be helping out the youngsters out there. So thank you so very much for joining with us today. It was pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors as well. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Varsha. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much.